Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Gran Turismo 7, where we're going to be jumping in for the Nations Cup once again. So this is going to be round 4, the last round of the Nations Cup in Exhibition Season 3. And we're going to be at Sardegna Road Track A, and we're going to be in the Group 2 machinery. So for this one, it has a very distinctive meta car. As you can see there, everybody choosing the Mercedes-Benz CLK. And of course we are going to be choosing the meta car as well, so that we can stay competitive in this lobby. We've got the Frenchman starting on pole, we've got the Brit starting in number 2, we've got another Frenchman starting on 3rd, we've got another Frenchman starting on 4th, and we are going to be all the way back. After the Swedish in 5th, we are going to be back here in P6. So getting on to the rolling start on this one, I found that having traction control on 1 for the start of this race, as we are starting on hard tyres, just helps a little bit with traction in those lower gears. So getting underway here, as we were fiddling with our traction control, we forgot to stay into the slipstream. That is going to be fine because everyone's going to brake a little bit early and it's all going to get bunched up here into turn 1. So we stayed out of trouble for that one. Coming into turn 2 and 3, the little chicane here, right behind the Swedish driver. As everyone gets a little bit bunched up, once again we're having to slam on the anchors, making sure we get it stopped, don't go into the back. And as you can see up in front, going to be a little bit of contact here as the Brit goes into the barrier. A little bit of contact there with the Frenchman in P2. But just pay attention to the Brit behind, as he is very unhappy with that particular move from the Frenchman. Going to the hairpin here for the first time. There's going to be more contact between the Swede and the Frenchman. That Frenchman getting in all sorts of battles on this opening lap, and that's going to put us up into P3. So coming up the hill here into this difficult left-hander, very fast and difficult corner to get right. And keep your eye on the rear view mirror here as we're coming into the last corner. And as you can see there, just getting completely destroyed. So I checked back on the replay, it was the Brit who went into the back of the Frenchman, who had nowhere to go and just pile drived us into the wall. So we're sitting here down in P6 with damage to both my back tyres and the rear bumper. It's going to be a little bit of a while before we can get that sorted and then push on to catch P5. The Austrian there up in front. Coming around here for the second time in this race. So now we have a little bit of time, let's talk about strategy. So the available tyres for this one were racing hards and racing mediums. Both were mandatory, but fuel is not an option. So you really got to just keep your tyres alive for the required amount of time. In this one we are going to be doing 11 laps on the hard tyres, and then the final line on the medium tyres. Coming up here into the hairpin, see if we can pick up any positions here, as this hairpin is always due to cause some chaos. Not on this lap, as we get a very big oversteer moment there on the exit. But we're all going to be continuing here on lap 2. Now I really found that the tyre life on this car was not the best. Other people were able to save a lot more tyres than me. As Alfonso there goes a little bit deep, we go into the wall on the inside. But we're right into the slipstream now. Coming down the main straight, however he is in the slipstream himself. So we're not going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1. We're 0.6 of a second behind. That is going to be way too far back to make a move. Coming round turn 1 then, there's not going to be any more carnage. We're still sitting here in P6, but we're going to fast forward now a little bit until the end of lap 4. Or kind of the middle of lap 4 actually. Where we have managed to stay on the back of Alphonse. coming through the difficult left-hander here. And we absolutely nail it that time. Getting a good run on the Austrian. We're going to shoot up the inside with a beautiful inside move. Beautifully clean and precise. Got to love that. So now we have a 2.2 second gap to the Swede up in front, who was on the medium tyres. So as long as we can keep pace with him and stay with him, we should be looking pretty good. We'll be coming to change for the mediums ourselves. So in terms of strategy and tyres, the Frenchman in first place was on the medium tyres. The Frenchman behind was on the hard tyres, and the Brit and the Swede were on the medium tyres. So we are the second highest hard running tyres here. So we're doing fairly well here. I believe the Austrian behind was also on the hard tyres. So we should be able to drop him fairly soon. We fast forward now once again all the way to lap 8. But we did manage to drop the Austrian. But the Brit here is going to come in very early for his pit stop. Changing on to those hard tyres. So that's going to promote us up into P4. Now we did manage to pull down the gap a little bit to the Swede, but due to a couple mistakes he did manage to pull it back up. So the gap now to about 2.5 seconds. Of course we have to remember he is on the medium tyres. So we don't need to worry too much. As long as we can still see him, we should be able to make move when we go onto the medium tyres ourselves. And we did manage to drop the Austrian, like I said before, up to about 3 seconds now. So this race is looking pretty good. We're in a pretty good position. I'm going to fast forward now once again all the way to lap 10. Where as you can see there, the Frenchman in the first place was on the medium tyres. We're going to come out just in front of him, or he's going to come out just behind us. And the Frenchman behind him was on hards. He's going to come out on medium tyres. So I think the battle for second position is on, as he was on the hard tyres. He's now going to be on the medium tyres. So that is our closest opposition on the same strategy. But we're sitting here in P2 behind the Swiss driver. Well, not the Swiss driver, the Swedish driver. I hope I haven't said Swiss earlier in the video. That is of course the Swedish flag. But anyway, moving on with the race, we have a gap that is increasing slightly to about 3 seconds. Now he's coming in for a very late pit stop in this one, running those medium tyres all the way to lap 11, which is quite impressive. I was definitely not able to do that. As you can see, my tyres are already dead and we're on the hard tyres and we're still running 11 laps. So I'm definitely not able to save tyres as much as the Swede up in front. Coming around the final corner here, this will be our in lap. So we have a 3 second gap to make up when we when we come out of the pit lane. As you can see there, Swede on medium tyres. We're going to come in and we're going to switch to medium tyres. We don't need fuel. We're going to come out and that gap is going to be about the same. However, we're going to get a Spaniard here coming in between us. So hopefully we can get past him as quickly as possible so that we can just catch up with the Swede, who is on now the harder tyres. So we should be able to gain quite a lot of time on him. And the Spaniards, as well as a few others in front of us, do have to make their pit stop still. So we should be able to get past the Spaniards fairly soon here. Make sure we get a really good exit out of this corner. This corner is so important for lap time, as we have this really long straight going up the hill right afterwards. So we are in the slipstream. Let's see if we can make a move going into the hairpin. Probably the biggest braking zone on the course, or maybe not. Maybe turn 1 is the biggest braking zone. They're pretty even, but we are going to make that move all the way around the outside. Now as you can see, we've already pulled in that gap to about a second to the Swede in front. So that has decreased by about half since our pit stop on this opening lap alone. So we should be able to overtake in this or the next lap, possibly the next lap, as we are still 1.3 seconds behind. As we see other people coming in for their pit stops, we're going to gain another 2 positions here, going back up into 4th. Remember, we did start this race in P6, so we've actually gained 2 positions already in this race. Looking for a podium spot here though, as we're making our way closer and closer to the Swede. Making sure we get it stopped nice and early for that first part of this corner. Get the better exit out of the second part. Now as you can see, we are right in the slipstream, so we are going to be gaining time for free. We also get a better exit out of the sweeping corner. All the way up the hill here, we are going to be in this slipstream. Can we make a move into the braking zone? He's not going to defend it. He knows we've got the pace. He knows we've got the better tyres. So we make a move up the inside, make it stick. And coming through to this fast, difficult corner, we're going to make it, or make the gap increase ever so slightly, as we do have the better tyres. I can see there the gap going up to about half a second already through the space of about 2 corners. Getting a good exit out of the final corner here. Now you can just see the traction as we begin to pull away. So the gap up to about 6 seconds now, and I think that is going to be our 3rd position. So now we can just focus on the Frenchman up ahead. Now if you remember, the Frenchman up ahead was on hard tyres, so he is going to be on medium tyres now. Has a gap of about 8 seconds. We also have 6 laps to go, so it is going to be very difficult to make that gap come down. I think we are going to be gaining, but only a couple tenths per lap. And indeed that was the case as we come round the last corner for the final time. As you can see, my tyres were absolutely dead. I can imagine his tyres were even worse, as he was losing quite a lot of time on that last lap. But that is going to be a 3rd position for us. Thank you so much for watching. That is going to do it for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.